Tonight, we begin with a quiet story, one that moves gently through questions, through light, through thoughts that traveled across space and time, and through one man's quiet mind that saw the universe in a new way. It is the story of Albert Einstein, a man who loved to wonder, who imagined riding on beams of light, who questioned the nature of time, and who became one of the greatest thinkers in the history of human understanding. There's no need to hurry through this story. Let it unfold slowly, like the slow drift of light through a quiet room. As you listen, imagine a quiet mind, thinking deeply, asking questions, and finding answers in the silence between thoughts. Tonight, we follow his journey. From a quiet childhood in Germany to a life of discovery that still inspires the world today. Albert Einstein was born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany. He was born into a quiet home under a wide sky where the nights were dark and the stars were bright. From the beginning, Albert seemed to notice the world with unusual care. While other children might have played loudly, Albert was the kind of child who watched, who listened, who wondered. He was fascinated by curiosity, by questions, by the idea that there might be rules that governed the world and that those rules could be understood if one only thought deeply enough. When he was a young child, his father gave him a compass, a small compass that always pointed north. Albert was amazed. He turned it this way and that, but the needle always found its way back. He asked questions, many questions. Why does the needle point north? What is invisible but still has power? How does the world work beneath the surface where we cannot see? These questions were not just curiosity. They were the beginning of a life's work. A life that would be shaped by the mystery of the universe and the dream of understanding it, one quiet thought at a time. His family encouraged his curiosity. They valued learning. They believed in the importance of knowledge. And though life was not always easy, their love for understanding was strong. It was a love that would stay with Albert through all the years ahead. In the quiet of his childhood, under the stars, a young boy began to dream of a future where he could understand the deepest secrets of space and time. As the years passed, Albert's fascination with the universe only grew stronger. He was not searching for fame. He was not searching for recognition. He was searching for understanding. He wanted to know how the world worked. He wanted to understand the mysteries of light, of time, of the very nature of reality itself. He wanted to learn and to help others through the quiet, steady power of thought. That dream took shape slowly, the way many important dreams do. It was not rushed, it was not forced. It simply kept returning to him year after year until it became part of who he was. He studied physics. He studied mathematics. He studied the laws that govern the movement of light and the flow of time itself. He noticed things others did not. He saw patterns. He saw possibilities. And he began to imagine something larger, a world where the universe could be understood through careful thought, through imagination, through the quiet power of the mind. He imagined himself riding on a beam of light. What would that feel like? What would he see? Would time slow down, or speed up, or stand still? That dream was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was gentle, steady, and full of wonder. In the quiet of his thoughts, in the stillness of his mind, a future began to take shape, one that would lead him into the deepest questions about the nature of reality itself. As Albert grew older, he faced challenges, but he did not let them stop him. He worked in a patent office, a quiet job, where he examined inventions and reviewed ideas submitted by others. It was not the job he had dreamed of, but it gave him time to think, to imagine, to wonder. And in the quiet hours after work, in the evenings, in the stillness of his room, Albert's mind continued to work. He thought about light, he thought about time, he thought about space, and how they might be connected in ways no one had realized before. Something is calming about a person who continues to think even when the world does not yet understand what they are doing. It gives others hope, it gives the future hope, it gives the world hope. Albert was that kind of person, quiet, steady, determined, and slowly his mind, his imagination, and his quiet strength began to bring him closer to discoveries that would change science forever. In 1905, something remarkable happened. Albert Einstein, now a young man, published not one, but several groundbreaking papers in a single year. This became known as his Year of Miracles. In these papers, he introduced ideas that would change the world. He explained the nature of light as both a wave and a particle. He described the movement of tiny particles in water, proving that atoms exist. And he introduced a new understanding of space, time, and energy. One of these papers contained a simple equation that would become one of the most famous in all of science. E = mass squared. A small equation, but it contained a profound truth. It showed that mass and energy are two forms of the same thing, that a small amount of mass could be converted into a tremendous amount of energy. This discovery changed everything. It changed how we understand the universe. It changed how we understand the connection between matter and energy and the very fabric of reality itself. But just as important as the discovery itself was the way Albert made it. He did not force the truth. He let it appear naturally through patience and imagination. That is part of what makes his story so peaceful and so powerful. He showed that careful thinking is a form of respect, and that respect can lead to deep understanding. Imagine Albert sitting quietly, his mind moving through the cosmos, thinking about light, about time, about the nature of reality. A thought sparks, an idea takes shape, a new understanding emerges, each small moment connected to the others in ways that only time can reveal. These moments were not loud, but they were profound. They changed science. They changed how we see the universe. And all of it began with a quiet mind and an imagination that traveled far beyond the limits of ordinary thought. Of course, Albert's path was not always easy. At first, his ideas were not widely understood. They were too new, too different from what people believed at the time. He faced criticism, he faced doubt, he faced moments when the work felt heavier than it needed to be. But Albert did not let this stop him. He continued to work. He continued to think. He continued to think. He continued to believe in the truth he had discovered. And slowly, as more people studied his ideas, as more experiments confirmed his predictions, his work began to be recognized. He became known as one of the greatest scientists in the history of humanity. He received the Nobel Prize. He traveled the world. People listened when he spoke. But Albert remained Albert, quiet, steady, humble. There is a quiet strength in that kind of perseverance. It does not need to shout, it simply keeps going. Albert's story reminds us that being misunderstood does not define a person. What defines a person is how they respond. He responded with discipline. with creativity, with unwavering belief. And because he remained faithful to his vision, his discoveries carried even more weight. He showed that the mind can be free, even when the world is not yet ready to understand. That thought can travel, even when recognition is slow. That is a powerful kind of strength, one that can endure and eventually transform understanding. As the years passed, Albert's work continued to change the world. His theory of relativity opened new doors in science, in our understanding of space, in our understanding of time, in our understanding of gravity itself. He showed that time is not fixed. It moves differently depending on how fast you are moving and how strong gravity is. He showed that space can bend and curve around massive objects. He showed that the universe is far more mysterious and far more beautiful than anyone had ever imagined. His ideas were used to understand black holes, the bending of light, the expansion of the universe, and the deepest mysteries of existence. He wrote, he taught, he shared his ideas with anyone willing to listen, and he never stopped wondering. He imagined new questions. He imagined new answers. He imagined a universe that was deeper, more mysterious, more beautiful than anyone had ever imagined. Some of these ideas are still being explored today. They are not fully understood, but they planted seeds that will grow into the future. Imagine the moment when Albert first understood that time is relative in the quiet of his mind, in the stillness. A new truth emerged, a new understanding appeared, and the universe became a little less mysterious and a little more knowable. That insight was not loud, it was not dramatic, but it was profound. It changed science. It changed how we see the cosmos. And it changed the way people think about space and time forever. All of it began with a quiet mind and an imagination that asked, what if? Albert Einstein's life did not end with discovery. Over time, he became deeply devoted to sharing his ideas, to inspiring others, and to helping the world understand the beauty of science. He believed that knowledge should be accessible. He believed that curiosity should be welcomed. He believed that science could be a force for good in the world. He wrote books. He gave lectures. He encouraged young people to follow their own dreams of discovery. He told them to wonder, to ask questions, to believe in the power of their own minds. His legacy became more than science. It became a call to attention, to curiosity, to compassion, and to responsibility. This part of his story is especially peaceful because it shows how a life rooted in curiosity can become a life of service. Albert did not simply discover for himself. He discovered for the world. He encouraged others to do the same. And in that way, his work reached far beyond the laboratory. It touched schools. It touched families. It touched hearts around the world. Albert Einstein's story is one of imagination, curiosity, quiet courage, and deep care for the world. He began as a young man in Germany with a mind that dreamed of understanding the universe and became someone whose discoveries still help us understand the deepest mysteries of space and time today. His life shows us that great change does not always come from speed or force. Sometimes it comes from waiting, thinking, and caring deeply enough to imagine what others might miss. That is a gentle lesson, but it is also a lasting one. His legacy continues in the scientists who study the universe, in the students who choose to learn even when the path is difficult, in every person who looks up and wonders about the stars, and in every person who believes that imagination can change the world. Albert's life reminds us that a calm and attentive mind can leave a wide ripple across the world. And as the universe grows quiet and the evening deepens, we can remember his story as a quiet gift, one that teaches us that patience, curiosity, and care can change everything.